Hello and welcome to Catamount Community Connection, our once-a-week public affairs show here. Catamount Radio. It's on 5 radio stations. I'm Brian Collamore hosting the program each and every Sunday. And again, we have a special pair of guests today, which we'll tell you about in just a second. The show is brought to you by the Rutland County Agricultural Society, which has brought you the Vermont State Fair at Rutland since 1846. We are already looking forward to the 180th Vermont State Fair at Rutland next August 2026, which will coincide with the 250th birthday of the United States of America. And we're going to carve this program up for the next hour into 2 parts. We're going to talk about, first of all, the Christmas Fund, Inc., and then secondly, Project Help, which is an annual charity event that kids at MSJ do. So we will first be joined by Terry Jaye, who is, along with myself, on the board of directors of what I guess familiarly known as the WSYB Christmas Fund, but technically pretty sure we changed the name to just the Christmas Fund, Inc., but it doesn't matter. It all is pretty much the same thing. So we're going to talk a little bit about our plans for this coming year. This will be our 53rd year of trying to raise as much cash as possible to buy gift cards so that our friends and neighbors in Rutland County, and that's where it stays, right in Rutland County, will be able to have, well, in some cases, a Christmas at all, and in other cases, a little nicer Christmas than they might face if we didn't, if we weren't able to do this. So, Terry, welcome in. It's always a pleasure to have you. I think we probably did this about a year ago, if I'm remembering right.
Yeah, most likely. And of course, we start broadcasting on a continuous basis for, a couple weeks. So that's you and I are going to get to spend a lot of time together.
Yeah, we are indeed. We are indeed. Yeah, this coming Friday, the day after Thanksgiving, will be our initial broadcast. And we'll be on from 6 a.m. to 10 a.m. every morning, beginning on the 28th of November and running through the 12th of December. And again, we invite people to come in during those 4 hours to drop off whatever they can. We don't have any great expectations of thousands of dollars coming in with 1 or 2 people. It really is the $20, $25, $50 amounts that add up very quickly. We already, I can tell you, have a record number of people who are in need. I don't think that's any secret. We've had some federal issues turn around with some funding that was available in past years, and it's not anymore. And, of course, inflation has continued to eat at people's pocketbooks. So we have a list that has grown and grown and grown. Now, the other part of that is, and I want to mention this, there were 2 events recently which were held in Rutland County that also set records for giving. The first one was back in October, and it's called Wheels for Warmth. It's the annual tire sale that was started by, Governor Scott when he was a senator back in 2005. And this year, both Rutland and the Barrie sites, because they do it up there in Barrie as well, set records for the amount of money that there was raised. So $110,000 overall. Rutland had over $40,000, which blew away all the records that we had previously. And that money goes to the capstone agencies, including Brock, and it is intended for fuel so that people can stay warm, thus Wheels for Warmth. And again, it's a tire sale where you can go and buy used tires that are still inspectable and able to be driven on in the winter months, and all the money goes to the fuel fund. And then the second thing happened just a couple of weeks ago, Stuff-A-Bus, and this is something that obviously Terry knows a lot more about than I do because he's kind of the ramrod on that. But that also set a record of $41,000 in cash and a lot of food. And it's funny, when you start measuring food in tons and not pounds, it really, really sounds like a lot.
Yeah, 8.5 tons of food and closer to 42,000 than 41. We're just, the if the senator writes a check today, we'll hit 42. But seriously, Bri, I am blown away by the generosity of this community, and I was going to say it surprises me every year, but we have been surprised for 50 years.
Yeah,
with the Christmas fund. And I always say, whether it's the blood drive where we hold the record in Rutland, or the Wheels for Warmth, which was just insanely beautiful this year, or the generosity with this year's Stuff-A-Bus, everything that I've learned about any of these campaigns, I've learned about from the WSYB Christmas Fund from back in the day.
Yeah.
And I think we have this simple philosophy, and I know we've talked about it, that I believe that most people want to help out somebody else.
Sure.
And boy, I if I hit the lottery, I'm going to be a good guy. I'm going to do some stuff, and I'll buy things I don't need, and I'm going to make sure my family's taken care of. But I think most people have in their hearts that, I'm going to try to do something good. And I think the average guy walking down the street feels the same way. And I think that's why we go out of our way to make it as easy as possible to be that good person. I mean, let's we're not begging for money. We're not, demanding that you come in here and help us out. We're saying, look, if you don't have that Christmas spirit, this honestly, and it's been your experience and my experience and my God, Alex Dunn's experience and Dick Noble's experience and Jeff Phelps's experience and every person that's ever worked on this Christmas fund, they all say the same thing. If you want to get the holiday spirit, the best way to do it is to help somebody else out. And if you're ever going through your life going, man, I just don't have that Christmas spirit, boy, I'll tell you, we can change that around.
Yeah. Join us. It's unique in so many ways. It started off in 1972 in the fall. We used to have a show on the air. Now, in 72, I was not here at this radio station yet. I was across, as we used to say, across town at WHWB, which isn't even on the air anymore. But I always was kind of jealous of the way that the Christmas Fund was put together. Anyway, there was a show that was on the air called Letters to Santa. Ted Pendleton, who was our news guy at the time, would put on his best Santa voice. And
an actor.
Yeah, and an actor, and a very good actor. And he would read letters on the air from kids that wanted a certain toy or a gimmick, whatever was going on that year that would be fun for kids to have. And a letter arrived, and this boy from western Rutland County, and I'll tell you about why the other part of it being unique is all the proceeds from this stay in the county. We don't go outside Rutland County with any of the gift cards. They're all here. So he was in western Rutland County, and his letter asked for boots and a blanket for his little brother, who was a couple years younger, because they had cardboard stuffed in the window of their bedroom, and they were freezing for the most part. And it was read on the air by Ted, and all of a sudden the phone started to ring. We took a collection up inside the radio station that first year. Mike Cameron was part of that group, and he and Howard Cameron went over and found the family and took care of them that year. But when the phone started ringing, we thought, wow, maybe there's a way for this to get bigger and bigger, and it did. And I can remember in the early days, and by 1973, I was here at the radio station here. So when we hit $5,000, we thought we died and went to heaven. Then it went to 8, then it went to 10, and all of a sudden, it just keeps going every year. And so for 53 years, this will be our 53rd. So for 52 years, we have given back to the community over $2 million worth of gift cards, and it just is an amazing, amazing situation. So it's
Brian, there's money that didn't make those lists, money that you and I went out and gave away, and there's no record of it, but you know what I'm talking about.
Yeah, I do. Yeah.
Like you listeners came in, past the date of what the official time deadline was. And a few of us, I know Jack Healy and Dick Noble, and I think maybe Tom Moore was part of that back in the day.
Ralph Smith, yep.
Ralph was Lenny, I know, has gone out.
Tiny Hair.
Laura.
Yep.
We divided cash that came in, and we said, you go this way, you go this way, you take and we knocked on doors and delivered it Christmas Eve. There's no record of that, and I know there's probably thousands of dollars because we did that for a few years because we were gonna make sure that Santa paid that visit that year. And I think for you, and I think, listen, I'm not talking out of school here, but I think what you did on those nights shaped you becoming a state senator today. And tell me I'm wrong.
No. It's an integral part of a personality to be able to recognize a need in the community, figure out the best way to address it, and then become part of
and do it responsibly.
Yeah.
And I think that's a big part of who you are today is what you did back then. And I'm thinking of the reactions of those people when we knocked on the door that weren't expecting us, and suddenly there you are. And man, that was an awesome responsibility that we had. But sometimes I'd get home and I'd find a $10 bill in my pocket that somebody handed me in the grocery store, and I'm like, oh, I got to turn this around. I got to go back and give this away. But those were the days, man. That was something special.
Yeah,
it really was.
If you aren't touched by physically having somebody open a door, these are places, by the way, that people drive by every day and never realize what's on the other side of that door. So the door opens and people start crying, and you cry, and you.
Oh man! Everybody's hugging, and everybody, and then we would meet at Muckenschnabel's or someplace. And
have a hot toddy
without sharing personal information of anybody that received anything.
Yeah,
we would share some of our stories, and we would throw back a couple. And one night, I threw back way too many, and they say you should always call for a ride. So I called my wife. It's Christmas Eve, and she goes, "Where the hell are you?" And I said, well, we're at Muckenschnabel's. I think I may have had too many beers with Brian and Dick Noble and Ralph Smith. And she said, well, the best way for you to sober up is to walk back to Campbell Road. And I'm like, what? I said, that's like 2.5 miles. She goes, oh, you'll be sober after the first 1.5 miles. And it was snowing, 10 degrees, whatever. Yeah, I was sober after 1 mile, I think. But yeah, the stories that we went out and did back in those days, and certainly, now it's we have a board of directors, and it's not the Wild West anymore. But I'll tell you, I miss the Wild West. I do.
There's a certain uniqueness to it that you don't get when you become a little more bureaucratically organized. You're right. So it's unique in that way. I keep using that word unique because I don't know another entity that's exactly this way. No one gets paid, not even a penny for doing this. It's all volunteer. The radio station absorbs whatever cost there is from mailing and all that kind of stuff. So again, all the proceeds go right back into the community, and we go out and very carefully vet the list. The list is provided. We don't have anything to do with coming up with the names.
Right. That's an important part. Yeah, we're not making any. Yeah, Brian and I are not making any decisions about anything.
We ask for our community partners, and there are probably 15 or 20 nonprofit agencies in the area that are asked to come up with names of people that they know. So I'm talking schools, nonprofit groups, the Salvation Army, Brock, all those kinds of people. To come up with a list and then send it to us, and we make this giant list. Some of them are duplicates from, various different agencies. So obviously you only want to do it once. So we take all the dupe names and make sure that one name stays, but all the other ones go away. And as I said, this year it looks like we're going to have, unfortunately, a record number of families and seniors in the area that need our help. So
and veterans.
Yep. So we're going to kick it off a week from, or this coming Friday, I should say, on the day after Thanksgiving. And then we'll be on the air from 6 a.m. to 10 a.m. every morning from then all the way through the next 2 full weeks. So December 12th, that Friday, will be our final broadcast. And that evening will be at Ted's Pizza on State Street, which has also become an integral part of the WSYB Christmas Fund. And by the way, we're talking with Terry Jaye this morning, this afternoon, depending on when you're hearing this. And we will be looking for your donations all the way through. We have a new way for you to give this year, something called Give Butter. And we'll be explaining that throughout the next couple of weeks. But it's a QR code that you can just hold your phone up to and donate digitally, and you don't have to do it. But Terry's right. The best way to do it is to come in to the radio station if you're in the immediate neighborhood, because we love to see people and talk to them and put them on the air.
Yeah, and share stories about Christmases. You know, you mentioned Ted's. I'll tell you, Tony has gotten this means so much to Tony and his family. His mom was really into it. I think that's a big driving force why we wound up at Ted's. His kids grew up, singing on the air on WSYB during the Christmas Fund broadcasts. I mean, they were just kids. It is amazing now that his grandkids are doing the same thing that his kids did. I mean, that's the other thing. The Christmas Fund is a generational thing. It's been around for how long now?
This will be our 53rd year.
So think of all those people that brought their kids there, and now their kids. And we're 3 generations in already of people doing this. It's pretty cool.
And we used to have in the old days the pennies. I guess we're not making them anymore after a certain date.
Hey, you want to get rid of them? That's a good place to go. We'll take them.
But we'd have kids come in with, the jar of pennies. And to them, that was a lot of money. And we would count it up, and then we'd go to the bank. The banks in the area have always been very generous with their time and donations, to be fair. And we would put it in the bank and then buy the gift cards. I want to be completely transparent and upfront about this. The gift cards that are received, you cannot buy alcohol or tobacco with them.
What about firearms?
Or firearms. It's designed for Christmas, so it's designed for toys and clothes and food and whatever it is. We don't necessarily make judgments about what people should be getting as long as it's not those other things. They decide for themselves what they really need. If it's food, then by all means, go and buy food. If it's a toy for a kid or a memento for a senior, that's perfectly okay too. And this has been going, as we mentioned, now for our 53rd year. And it's been an amazing thing. I know we just recently got an award from the Vermont Association of Broadcasters. I think they call it a community...
Yeah, the Alan Noyes Community Service Award.
And you went up and accepted
I accepted it for you. I wanted you to come.
I know.
So Brian goes, no, you go ahead. But what I said was to a room full of broadcasters, I said Vermont is different because Vermont broadcasters basically help Vermonters be better Vermonters. Mm-hmm. I think that's a reason why you and I went into this too. It's not just to play another song. It's to, I think we have a responsibility to help people out. And I think most broadcasters feel that way. Although I have to say, when I walked in, I thought I was going to a prom because everybody looks so young. I mean, they get all dressed up. All I saw was, mini skirts, cleavage, and guys taking selfies of themselves wearing their skinny ties. And I'm like, geez, am I in the right place? What is this? No, these are our broadcasters, our rising stars. And I'm like, well, I hope they understand what I'm talking about with public service. I mean, I felt like somebody's grandfather in there.
Well, I'm sure they do. I mean, you and I were them.
I know. But gee, it was crazy.
And I can remember Frank McCormick and Tiny Hair. Those are my 2 first bosses looking at me as a kind of green, wet behind the ears kid coming in. And so I'm sure they felt the same way, that, what we have is is what we have, and it's traditional.
I know they're looking at us like, yeah.
And now we're doing that to the next generation. But without that next generation, stuff like the WSYB Christmas Fund would not be possible. So we're hoping that we find a lot of new people to join us this year. As is true with any organization, the key is always to replace from below in terms of age and keep it rolling, keep it going. And so we need some younger people to realize what the situation is. You know, the need, we say it every year, but I think if you really are honest with yourself, the need this year is tenfold from what it was. We don't have the federal funds on which to depend this year. We're all hoping that'll change. And so we're going to have to sort of pull ourselves up by our bootstrings. But the two successful events that just happened, the Wheels for Warmth and the Stuff-A-Bus, are clear examples of people understanding that there'll be people that are on the list this year that have never been on the WSYB Christmas Fund list before. And so we have more need than we've ever had. And we will accept checks. You can go on this QR code, which I don't really understand, but we'll be explaining that. It's give butter, all one word, .com, and then /WSYB Christmas Fund. And you'll be able to virtually donate, and you won't have to worry about, coming down to the radio station, because we're only doing the 4 hours in the morning, 6 to 10 each morning. And we're going to be on both WSYB and also 98.1 JJR. And that obviously is a lot bigger signal than SYB is. So we're hoping that we reach, people that are on sort of the outskirts of the county. But again, nobody makes a salary. Nobody gets paid a dime to do this. It's all volunteer. It's all, free stuff. And all the proceeds stay right in Rutland County. We don't go outside the county. We do have people, this is always a touching thing too. We have people that come up from downcountry to ski every year, from Connecticut, Mass, New Jersey, New York, wherever they're from. And sometimes they'll hear about this. And I've had people come up to me and give me a donation, even though they realize that they're not going to be helping anybody outside of Rutland County. But they feel that, as you said, that Christmas spirit is can be alive if you want it to be. So
yeah. And how many people have we had contribute that were helped before?
Right.
It's again, this is a great example of it's not a handout; it's a hand up, and many people pay it back. That's how they feel. They feel like you helped me, you helped my grandmother, you helped whatever back in the day. And then you have other people paying it forward. They're on, living paycheck to paycheck. Like if you're on radio, that's how we always lived. And, we understand that. But they said, I'm one paycheck away from being here too. So let me do something while I can. And we hear a lot of those stories.
And it's true that in any given year, different circumstances emerge. So, for instance, a fire, which is totally unexpected, certainly not planned for, and all of a sudden, if someone's house or apartment is severely damaged and they had Christmas gifts waiting under the tree that are gone, that represents a need that wasn't there before, and they may find themselves unable to sort of recoup all that. And that is one thing that the WSYB Christmas Fund has been able to do over the years. And then, you get hurt on a job and you lose your job, or for whatever reason, you're not in the same economic situation that you were in past years. So it was always designed from the very beginning to help people out that for that year are up against it and need some help. It is not necessarily an ongoing need. In other words, the same people don't always sort of expect to be helped every year. Sometimes they are because of their situation. But for the most part, it was designed originally to just help somebody out that was kind of down on their luck that year. And as Terry said, many times later, and how it's so cool how people tell you stuff that you are never aware of. Yeah. But I've had people come up and say, I don't want to say anything, but there was a time when I really was was not doing too well. And that knock came, or the mail got delivered, and all of a sudden I had a thing from the WSYB Christmas Fund. And now I'm back on my feet. I have a great job, and I want to give back to it because it really did help me out that one year. So those are sort of the ground rules. And again, we're hoping that we've had both the mayor of the city of Rutland, Mike Dunches, and also the president of the Board of Aldermen, Dave Allaire, promise us that there'll be a proclamation this year, and we're going to invite them to join us on Friday the 28th to read that proclamation. And we've never done that before, but we're trying to constantly think of different ways to reach new people.
Look at the Christmas Fund, bringing even politicians together. That's amazing.
Yeah, I know. Well, we all live here, right? And we all want to continue to live here, and we want our community continue to prosper and to grow and thrive. And this is one of the things that you can do to help out. And so we're hoping that we get maybe a record-breaking amount of money given to us this year. I try to look back on I don't know what the all-time amount was. I want to say it was probably somewhere around $70,000 a year.
I think
1 year.
I think it's right up there.
Yeah. And
I think that was even before we got help from working with corporate partners,
right?
Back in the day.
Yeah, we had no idea. I mean, I can remember the days of the Jimmy Fund, and we'd stand out in front of what was Stereo Theater on West Street with a boot, and people would drive by and throw a quarter in, and we thought we were, wow, this is great, man, this is great. So we've managed to leverage a little bit more from our businesses in the area that are doing well that year, and we certainly have some names that are very well known in the area that have come to our rescue on occasion. And I mean, I'm not going to put any pressure on people use any name, but there's a very generous contribution that's made almost every year that I've been around from one particular person, maybe more than one, but one of them was it was anonymous on purpose for a long time. We've since understood who it is. But anyway, we're hoping that they also will come to our rescue again this year, and that the Christmas Fund will continue to prosper. So we got a couple of minutes left, Terry. I don't know if there's anything else you want to mention.
I just I think it's important to be part of something that's traditional. I mean, if you're listening to Bing Crosby, or you're listening to those good old-fashioned songs, or singing around the Christmas tree, or if you have those Christmas traditions, let the Christmas Fund be part of your Christmas tradition. And I know for many of our listeners, I'm preaching to the choir. I mean, I know it already is, but if you want to start a new Christmas tradition, make this be part of it, because I guarantee it's a wonderful way to help get the Christmas spirit. And it's a great example for your kids. I mean, bringing your kids here, making them part of it, you help make sure that, your kid has empathy, that they know what this is about, that that they become good citizens of this community, that they become better Vermonters, they become better than us. And I think it's all in part of these traditions where we're all in this together. We've got each other's backs. I believe in this traditional giving.
We have, on occasion, people move here from other places that, they're brand new residents of Rutland County. They don't know anything about this. So this is one of those things where we love to tell people about. WSYB Christmas Fund, yes, it is nonprofit. It's a registered, incorporated entity with the Secretary of State. So you will be able to write it off at the end of the year if that is something that might attract you otherwise. That's great, too. But the deal is you'll just feel better, and you'll know that, again, it's all staying in Rutland County, and nothing is taken out in terms of the proceeds that are given every year. It all goes back with gift cards, and the names are not created with the radio station. We have an outside group that does that, so we sort of keep a little bit of a wall up between the two, separation, which I think is healthy, and we're looking forward to a real record-breaking year, hopefully, for the Christmas Fund. So next Friday, coming up here, the day after Thanksgiving, we'll be looking for you from 6 in the morning until 10 each day from that day through the 12th of December. So that's 11 days, if my math is right. Ted's Pizza will be doing the broadcast on the 12th. It's a Friday, and we'll start around 4 o'clock and go till 7. I'm sure we'll see many people that we see every year at Ted's, and that's an important part of the Christmas fund as well.
If you'd like to make a contribution and you can't bring it in, we'll go pick it up.
Yeah. Or you can mail it to WSYB Christmas Fund. That's how you make the check out. Door Drive. Is it 250? I think Door Drive.
Yeah.
Rutland 05701. And Merry Christmas to you all. And hopefully you'll be joining us in the next couple of weeks. Well, Terry Jaye, thank you very much for joining us.
My pleasure.
And we're going to turn things over to some students from MSJ in the next segment, and they're going to talk about their Christmas event, which is known as Project Help, which actually is a little bit older than the Christmas Fund, believe it or not, by a couple years. Not that these kids, because I'm sure they're students there now, they weren't around when it began, but maybe they can provide a little bit of history. Anyway, when we come back, we'll be talking with them here on Catamount Community Connection. Welcome back to Catamount Community Connection, our weekly public affairs show here at Catamount Radio. I'm Brian Collamore, your host. We just talked with Terry Jaye about the WSYB Christmas Fund. And now we're going to turn things over to a group of 3 students from MSJ. And actually, before we got recording, I asked them about the history of Project Help. And I knew it was a little bit older, but I only thought it was 2 or 3 years. But one of their faculty members had indicated that it's actually 61 years this year. We're 53 years into the Christmas Fund. So you guys were hanging around a lot. Not that you were personally involved at those early years, but that's really cool. I don't know how it came about, whoever suggested it in the beginning, but we're joined by Evan Ferguson, who's a junior at MSJ, Sophia Cavalieri, a junior, and also vice president of the student government, and James Williams, who's the senior, and also the president of Student Gov. So I don't know who wants to lead things off, but talk to us about Project Help. What is it? How do people get involved?
Okay, so basically Project Help is just fundraising within the community and within like the school in order to raise food and also toys for people in need.
Okay.
And I think it's a really great thing that we have going on too.
So how long have you been there doing it for all 4 years?
I have.
Okay.
I've been a part of Student Gov, I think, all 4 years. And it's been going good every single year, but I think within the past 2 years, it's been really good because my freshman and sophomore year, not to say it was bad, but I think last year it was really good and we did a good amount and we had good food.
And I know there's competition between classes. Is that right?
That is true.
Okay. Who wants to talk about that?
I'll talk about that.
All right. Get a little closer to that mic, Evan.
So, competition between classes, we get prizes, usually donuts, presented to us by Mr. C. And the winners, whoever brings in the much, based off a percentage of your class.
Okay.
So if your class has less students, you got a little more leeway, kind of, because your percent could be higher if you all bring in a little.
Yeah, if you only have 2 and you get 1, that's 50%.
Yeah,
I could figure that out.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, so I would like to say our class, our junior class, has been winning lately. I think your class needs to step up a little bit, but yeah, it's a competition to keep us going.
Seniors are coming.
Oh.
Okay.
Yeah, it's a competition to make us try harder to get more food in for the community. Yeah.
And how do you go about doing that? Do you go out and pick it up? How does that work? Here's Shirley. Okay.
We don't do that anymore.
Okay.
Because it's kind of hard for us to go through the community when we know there's such a great need. And sometimes we would go to a house that would be in the need but still want to donate.
Gotcha.
So we do have these competitions where Student Gov sets the food of the week of what needs to be collected, and that's the percentages. Like this week was stuffing and
instant potatoes. Yeah.
First week was our vegetables. We've done pasta. We've done peanut butter and jelly. We've done pasta sauce, cereal. And I'll let Sophia talk about how well we've done with number-wise collecting stuff.
Okay.
You know.
right there.
We're in a really small studio, by the way, so we're kind of crammed in. Go ahead, Sophia.
So when we collected vegetables, we collected 240 cans. For peanut butter, we collected 48 jars, and for jelly, 22.
Okay.
Cereal.
Yeah.
Okay. For cereal, we collected 132 boxes. For spaghetti and pasta, we collected 149 boxes. For pasta sauce, we collected 124 jars. And for the stuffing and potatoes, we collected 97 boxes.
Okay. Now, how do you come up with the names? I've seen pictures of, like, this room, I don't know where it is in the school, and it's all full of food. And so how do you decide where to go with the food? Where do those names come from?
That I can answer.
Okay.
Vermont Catholic Charities.
Yeah.
Will give us a list of people. We have 55 families this year that have reached out to Vermont Catholic Charities.
Okay.
And we actually do all work with, all of our names come from them, and we do have a few on the side that we know that come in that we do boxes for. And along with the food that we do, we also give a Visa card for our Price Chopper card for for the perishables, for the milk, the turkey, and we kind of set it where it's like $25 for a family of one, $50 for a family of 2 to 4, 5 and above get a $75 card. And that comes from the monetary donations that we get. We send out a letter every year. In fact, Student Gov's working on it now, getting it out, looking for monetary donations for that.
So I assume you have dates already picked out for this. I mean, it's an ongoing thing, but when's the letter going out?
Tuesday.
The letter for this is going out on Tuesday.
Okay. I think people could hear Hurley helping you there. That's good. Okay, go ahead.
What am I doing?
James?
Yes.
You want to talk about any of this?
The dates that we have.
Yeah.
Oh, right here. Okay, so we are collecting.
No.
Wait, where are we looking?
We're looking at on the 9th and the 11th, I
Oh,
believe, on that letter.
Over
You're
here.
having dates. James,
Oh, right here. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, we are looking at the 9th and the 11th from 3 p.m. to 6 p.m. for
people wanna
pickup.
drop off.
Yeah, for pickup food and drop off, in order to help as well.
Okay. And I know the Vermont Catholic Charities group is also, because Hurley's on the helping us with the Christmas fund as well, they are one of the referring agencies that the Christmas fund uses to come up with names. So this is really kind of like all in the family, which is great. And, we're going to try to help as many people as we can with our drive. We've raised over $2 million over our 53 years. But, that it's a different situation. You guys are much more boots on the ground kind of thing. I'm just reading, this was from the Rutland Herald a couple years ago, and Mr. Kavakis is quoted here. So it actually, Project Help was started by Sir William Marie and the MSJ student government in 1959 to assist a family in the neighborhood that needed help. And after collecting goods from the community, and I hope I'm pronouncing his name, Marie and the students discovered a greater need for the service, which in turn inspired the annual fundraiser and the WSYB Christmas Fund in a similar fashion. And maybe people listening don't remember, but we used to have a program called Letters to Santa, and a boy from the western part of the county wrote in, and most of the other kids were asking for toys. He was asking for boots and a blanket so his little brother could stay warm because their window in the bedroom was basically a piece of cardboard. So that began the Christmas fund for us in 72. People started calling and saying, well, I'll give you $5 or whatever. And you got to realize the money situation back then was a lot different. $5 there was a lot of money. And so that's how we got started. But I'm glad that I opened this up because I always thought Project Help was maybe a couple years older, but you guys clobbered us with the date here. There's no way around that. And all the classes at MSJ every year are involved with this. As Evan mentioned there's a little bit of competition between classes, which is always healthy. I'm a firm believer in competition. I think it makes people, everybody, better because they strive to do better than somebody else. And so I don't know, is there, what's the largest class at MSJ right now? Do you know?
It's got to be juniors.
Juniors?
Juniors,
Okay.
yeah.
So you're a senior. You're a junior.
Yeah.
So you're up against it in terms of the percentages because the higher the number of students in that class, the harder it is to get to a larger percentage. So
our class definitely takes a passion and
yeah, well, good.
and getting
Yeah,
it in.
yeah.
They've been beating us the past couple times. But I think we have this next week because the prize is pizza.
Yeah.
Oh,
I think the seniors will step it up this week. I hope.
okay. Well,
I sweetened the pot this week. Instead of donuts, we're doing pizza, and it is soup for Monday's dress down day. And one of the things is because we are a parochial school, we do have a dress code, but to dress down, what they do is they pay, quote unquote, and bring in a can of vegetables or whatever so they can dress down. But they always bring more than one because they see the need that we have. So this week it is soup, and the winning class will get pizza the following Tuesday after break for lunch. Yeah.
and one of the things that makes MSJ special, and also Christ the King, is the uniforms. That I mean, when you see kids walking, it's not too hard to say, "Oh, that's a Christ the King kid," or "That's an MSJ kid." And so, yeah, you have ties every day.
No, just
okay.
Fridays.
Today was actually a dress down.
Today was a dress
Today's
down.
well, you have a tie on.
We were just trying to
look a little nice.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
All right. Well, you did well. You did well. And I went to parochial school as well, so I had nuns from first grade through 8th, and then Jesuit priests in high school. So I'm certainly familiar with the dress code. We had to wear a jacket and tie every day in high school, regardless of how warm it got. And there were days, I was in Massachusetts at the time, when it got pretty warm. But we didn't have that dress down thing. I wish we had, but we didn't have access to that. But I think it does make you guys special in terms of probably how you feel about yourself, too, in your school. You're pretty proud of what you do, right?
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
It also makes getting up in the morning and picking what I want to wear really easy because I just wear khakis and then throw on a hoodie or a polo.
And that's the advantage in many respects with a uniform, is that it sort of likens everybody to each other. You don't, some kids I'm sure that are there are not as economically fortunate as others, and they would be hard pressed to come up with the right clothes, whatever that means. And so it's easier with just a uniform. So I never minded it. I thought it was okay, and here I am. So it didn't kill me. Okay, so we got about 15 minutes left. We've talked a lot about the letter going out Tuesday. Where does that letter go? Who gets that letter?
We have about 100 businesses that we send letters out to. And individuals that we have a mailing list that we go and we mail them out. And the cash contributions, help us with the gift cards. And if we need to supplement any food that we are short, we always go and just supplement it because we try to make sure there's, the boxes are well-rounded and full. And we also, with that letter, have generated in the past, parents of our students have graciously called me up and asked for the age of the students, the children that are there, and their gender, and bought Christmas presents for them. We were fortunate last year that Dollar Tree.
It was Dollar Tree.
Downtown gave us a lot of toys. So we were able to give more than one or two, toys for each child that's there. And it's what I enjoy about it is that on Friday the 19th is that people come in and pick up their boxes if they can, and our students get to see who they're helping. And I think that means a lot, because the people are so very grateful for that. And then we take students out and delivering boxes too, that allows the students, just to see who they're helping.
Yeah.
And that's what makes MSJ really special, because we have that we do a lot in the community. We do a lot for the community, not because we have to, but the students want to.
Yeah. And we're talking with Evan Ferguson, Sophia Cavalieri, and James Williams, and also Hurley Kavakis from MSJ about Project Help. When Terry was on earlier in the show, we had the same conversation that back when, we don't do it as much as we used to do it, but back when with the Christmas fund, you could get a $20 bill handed to you 2 days before Christmas, and there just wasn't time to sort of get to the bank, put it in the bank, write a check, do all that kind of stuff. So we would literally go to the store and buy whatever we thought, and then we would knock on people's doors that were on the list. And to me, that is where kind of the rubber meets the road. It forms that connection between, as you said, Mr. Kavakis, the people that are receiving this and the people that are giving get together, and they actually meet for the first time. And I can't tell you there weren't days when tears were shed on both sides of that door when it was opened, and you could see what was on the other side. And these are places where you might drive by every day and not realize what was going on. So it's nice to know that if people can't make it down to MSJ to get their gifts, that you can go out and I would assume that really gets pretty emotional for a lot of the students to actually see who it is that they're helping, right?
Yes, definitely. Last year, I was one of the lucky few to actually go around with Mr. C and drive to a couple of the homes and give the food to them. And it was like really interesting to see how like they were doing or where they were at, because a couple, I'm pretty sure most of them all had already come in and we had talked with them. And it was just interesting to see like what was going on and to talk with them and then just give them the food and just say I'm sorry, I lost my train of thought.
That's all right.
But just to like talk with them, and then they say their thanks and we just give them like the best of luck.
Yeah.
And it was just fun to see that. And it was also like kind of very
emotional.
I'm blanking. Yeah, emotional.
Yeah. Okay. We're going to take our second break here on the show, and when we come back, we'll maybe flesh out a little bit more detail in terms of how other people could get involved. If you're not one of the 100 businesses that get the letter, how else people could help out with Project Help this year. We will do that when we come back here on Catamount Community Connection. We're back on Catamount Community Connection. I'm Brian Collamore, the weekly host of the program. And again, we divvied it up today by speaking first with Terry Jaye about the WSYB Christmas Fund. And this coming Friday, the day after Thanksgiving, we will begin our broadcast for that. And we've talked with some of the students from MSJ about their Project Help, which is an annual event as well. Evan Ferguson, Sophia Cavalieri, and James Williams have joined us here on the radio. And we talked a lot about the feeling that people get when Christmas is such a special event and they can get involved in whatever they choose to do. And how are people just in the community be able to help out? Can they write a check? Can they drop it off? How do we get involved?
Yeah, so we have dates, but people from the community can actually come at any time to drop off. But the dates we have are December 9th and December 11th from 3 to 6 p.m. That's a Tuesday and a Thursday. And at those times, families can bring in food, toys, anything they want to help the community. Money, anything at all.
Okay. And the toys probably should be new.
Yeah, that would be nice.
You know, somebody's 30-year-old doll really isn't going to help too much.
Yeah, something, that you think a kid would like. Doesn't really matter the age group because we get kids from all age groups.
Sure.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's how you all listening can get involved. On the 9th and 11th of December, you can go to MSJ right on Convent Avenue, and from 3 to 6 in the afternoon, drop off whatever it is. Got to be new stuff, new toys, new clothes, and money, and food, and whatever else you can imagine that people would need. Okay, so then on the other side, when do you take it out? What days are those for you guys doing it on the other end?
So the last 2 days before school, or the last 2 days of school before Christmas break is the 18th and 19th.
Mm-hmm.
And so on the 18th, we kids pair up, and they'll get a piece of paper that has a list of the items they should get, and they'll go around to all the tables, and the kids' ages is also listed on the paper. And so they'll go around to the tables picking up food items for that family, and then they'll go pick out a toy for that kid that matches the age and gender, and they'll wrap it and put it into a box. And then on the 19th, that's when either families come and pick up their boxes, or we drop them off to them.
Now, you said pair up, Sophia. Is it going to be like a freshman and a junior, and a sophomore and a senior, or is it all you're staying within your class?
Yeah, so usually we call classes down, so they'll stay in their class just so it's not everyone all down there at once. So each class will come down at separate times, and then they'll go around with a shopping cart, and we set up the tables with each type of food, and they'll collect the food that is listed on the paper and make the boxes.
Okay. And who drives? Is it students driving around? Is it parents? Is it faculty? How do you get from MSJ to wherever you're headed?
Faculty.
Okay. So faculty and a pair of students, and then you
Yes.
go out and deliver this.
Yes.
Okay. Well, we're hoping that, I mentioned with Terry both the Wheels for Warmth, which was the annual tire sale, which was back in October, and then Stuff-A-Bus, which was a couple of weeks ago here in Rutland, set records for the amount of money collected and the amount of food that was donated. I think Wheels for Warmth, which goes for fuel oil for people to stay warm, they collected about $110,000 between Barrie and Rutland. And then Stuff-A-Bus did $41,000, maybe almost $42,000 in cash and a whole bunch of food. And they start measuring it in tons instead of pounds, because tons sounds like, wow, that's a lot of food. And it was. And that was also a record-breaking year. We're hoping that the Christmas Fund, because the need this year seems to be more than it's ever been since I've been involved, for a number of reasons. Federal cutbacks and inflation still eating into people's ability to buy what they need to buy. So we need everybody's help, and Project Help is another way to do this. And you don't always necessarily just do one. You could give to the Christmas Fund, and you can give to Project Help. We're just trying to hit all the bases, if you will. So, again, the 9th and the 11th for bringing stuff in, 3 to 6 p.m. in the afternoon at the Convent Avenue Gym. And then the 18th and 19th, all of the stuff that was collected goes back out. I'm assuming you don't have stuff left over after. Is that ever happens?
No, we don't. For food, we don't keep, because it's all the perishable items. So then we just give it out, and we make sure that we get the most to everyone. Okay.
And Hurley mentioned gift cards too. Why don't we mention those again? Evan, if you want to.
Yeah, sure, absolutely. So the gift cards, Price Chopper gift cards. Yeah, so the Price Chopper gift cards go out depending on how many kids are in the family. So one kid per family would be about $25, and then if you have 2 to 4, it's $50, and anything above that is a $75 gift card to Price Chopper for all your perishables, like the turkey, the meats, eggs, milks, anything like that. And
I think it was Hurley I mentioned earlier, 53 families this year have been 55. Okay, we got into 55. And Vermont Catholic Charities is in charge of coming up with the list, just like they help us with the Christmas Fund, and so does Brock and the Salvation Army and a whole bunch of other nonprofits. Do the people that are receiving know that you're coming, or because that was part of the surprise for us when we used to deliver the Christmas Fund in person? Many of them had no idea that they were going to get help, and I don't know whether it's kind of a surprise to them or whether some of them know and some of them don't. How about anybody? Well, you mentioned, I think, James, that you got picked last year to go out. When you knocked on that door, did they seem surprised, or were they sort of like, oh, yeah, MSJ's here?
Yep. So when I would go around, they were definitely a little surprised. They had known that we were going to come, but I don't think they knew quite as like how much we were going to give them, or like what we were like giving them in particular. So it was nice to see the surprise on their face too.
Okay. Mm-hmm. Have you guys, Sophia and Evan, been out in person or not?
I did not go out last year. But
Okay.
Sophia
I did go out last year.
And talk to me just a little bit about how you feel. What does that do for your self-esteem to know that you can actually make a difference in somebody's life?
It's an amazing feeling just to be able to give back and have this opportunity to just help people make their lives a little easier.
Yeah. So it's something you look forward to, I assume, every year, the
Yes.
students at
Very
MSJ.
much.
Okay. Well, we are out of time, so we'll wrap things up. Evan Ferguson, thank you. Sophia Cavalieri and James Williams, and also Hurley Kavakis. And we hope that you set records this year with Project Help. It would really be kind of special to have everything kind of going the right way for a change, and we'll see what happens, I guess. So again, people listening, 9th and 11th, that's when we need you to help out. Bring some money, bring some toys, bring some food down to MSJ, and let's make Project Help as successful as it's ever been this year. And thank you all for joining us today. And we will see all of you next week here on the radio on Catamount Community Connection.